Joan Murray. She's in Coral Springs, where the police chief there talked about his own agency's heroic response. Joan.
Well, the high school is in the city of Parkland, Rick, and the law enforcement agency for Parkland is Broward Sheriff's Office. However, Coral Springs is very close to that high school. Many people live here, teachers and students, so they are very close to the situation. On the day of the shooting, they were in the thick of it.
We did save lives that day, as tragic as it was.
Coral Springs Police Chief Tony Pastisa giving first responders from his city their due. Marjory, Stoneman, Douglas High, just 3 miles from the police department. Coral Springs officers and fire rescue were among the first to respond to the mass shooting Valentine's Day. Sergeant Carla Kimatek at the front of the pack.
There was a moment I had a little bit of self-acceptance that this potentially could be a lethal, deadly situation. And I came to terms with it because this is what I do for a living, and I knew that I had to go in there and do the best that I could to stop the bad guy if he was still in the building, and then just to start helping kids.
But in news conferences after the massacre, Coral Springs wasn't mentioned, compelling the chief to send an email last Friday to staff, which read in part, another agency has given the impression it provided the majority of rescue efforts, and Coral Springs has not been recognized. The truth will come out in time. Coral Springs Fire Rescue said they transported 14 shooting victims.
Our paramedics, our SWAT paramedics, our police officers in Coral Springs and throughout the area were putting tourniquets on kids and putting chest seals on kids. The trauma surgeons at the hospital have told us that those kids would not be alive today if it wasn't for those efforts.
And the chief putting to rest rumors his officers were told to wait for BSO SWAT to arrive before they could go inside.
I can tell you definitively no. We don't do that. All our officers are trained the same way. We all do the same movements. We know how to aggressively go into a situation that, to save lives. That's what our job is. So.
And the chief also made one other clarification. There was surveillance video, of course, all around campus. And for a while, some of the tape was given to officers, and it was actually not in real time, but 20 minutes before. So it led to some confusion. In other words, officers were looking and thinking the shooter was still in the building when actually he had already exited. They said that did lead to some chaotic moments and confusion, but they say it did not contribute to any additional loss of life. In Coral Springs tonight, Joan Murray, CBS 4 News.